The Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to jamiapsmedia.com. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, the ultimate weekly entertainment recap and review show. My name is Jamie Apps, and each week I'll be joined by a rotating cast of co-hosts to run you through the entertainment media we've consumed during the week. Along the way, we'll provide you with insightful commentary and reviews. This week, I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists his favourite movie as American Psycho and favourite TV show as Peaky Blinders. Welcome back to the show, Blake Robinson.
My man, what's good?
The restrictions are finally being lifted by the looks of things.
Man, I'm hanging. But I just want the gym back. Is the non-gym bro thing to say. I don't know. Man, I'm just been a bit lazy lately, so I could handle not going out for a little while longer and whatnot, just save a bit of money. But yeah, I just want to get active again, eh? So I'm hanging for that stage 2 gym access.
Yeah, I wonder how long the gyms are going to be still at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, well, I freak out at the healthiest of times about the hygiene of the gym, let alone in this current climate. So it's going to be interesting times.
If it's anything like hospitals, I had to go to the hospital to get a script the other day, and I had to stop, give them all my details, get my temperature checked. Like, ridiculous.
I couldn't do it, man. I hate going to hospitals at the best of times. It's take your own pen territory, eh?
Yeah, all I wanted just to get a script. I was there for like 10 minutes.
Just being in there just freaks me out. No. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to be there, that's for sure. Even the doctors, bro. I don't even want to go to the doctors right now. Or any public place for that. Man, I don't even like filling up my car with petrol. Freak out when I'm
you get back in the car and you're like, yeah, dirty hands.
Gross, bro. That thing's gross enough as it is.
Yeah, they're disgusting at the best of times. So outside of that, what have you been doing since you're stuck at home most of the time?
Reading. I've been doing heaps of reading, which is good. But other than that, just stuck in front of my laptop. Just banging out what I can, to be honest with you. Anything
in particular that's been capturing your attention?
Yeah, I actually got around Hollywood on Netflix. I think it only came out last week, but yeah, it looked pretty sick, so I just got into that. It's a 7-part miniseries. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it all at once. So I did it without even stopping, all 7 episodes, like 55-minute episodes. I quickly absorbed that the other day, and it was really good, It's produced by Ryan Murphy. He stars Glee and I think American Horror Story as well,
Okay, yep.
So, yeah, it was really good. It's pretty much, it was set in the 40s in Hollywood, like the golden era of film, and, it's what happens in it. So I watched it too quick now. I couldn't even absorb what was going on. So basically it starts... Have you watched it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I managed to get through the whole season over the weekend as well. It's pretty easy watch, really.
Yeah, well, you wanna help me out here and explain it?
So yeah, it's about a group of sort of young actors, filmmakers, and a writer as well, who are all like chasing their dream of being that Hollywood star.
Yeah.
And then they have to just deal with being the 40s or the problems that existed in that time, sort of the sexism, the racism, homophobia.
Yeah, there's had a few coloured people involved, and every second person seemed to be gay in it, which is for the 40s is pretty full on. Yeah, but the first 2 episodes, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, because I hadn't really read into it. I didn't really watch. I watched like half the trailer, and I was like, yeah, this looks cool. So I didn't really know what it's about. And yeah, for the first couple of episodes, I'm like, fire! I didn't know Netflix did porn.
Yeah, it's pretty full on in the first couple.
Yeah, man, I was like, far out. Surely they can't keep this up. But yeah, it ended up locking into gear and ended up being pretty good. I was wondering when I was going to tone down a bit.
Yeah, I was the same. Like, I hadn't done any research into it. I just sort of saw the trailer and looked at it and was like, that looks interesting and it's got a pretty good style about it.
Yeah, hot tip, don't watch it with your parents.
Yeah, that would have been a bit weird.
No, very good though. Yeah, the costumes are great.
The performances are really good too, especially Jim Parsons.
Jim Parsons is incredible. Sheldon from to Big Bang Theory. I haven't watched much Big Bang Theory, but I know enough about him. But yeah, that scene, I don't know, it might have been episode 4 or 5. He was had that guy over and he was in his lounge room doing that little dance routine. That was incredible.
Yeah, shut up, I'm dancing.
That's Emmy worthy stuff.
Such a big change of character for him too, going from Sheldon.
Yeah, it's very flamboyant character. Everyone seemed to play a bit of a sleazy role as well in that.
Yeah, to me, he was like the Harvey Weinstein of the whole thing.
Yeah, I suppose that I don't know when it was written, but it's got a lot of really good messages and political statements in it. Hey, throughout, I'm sure that whole ordeal would have got some sort of a run in it.
Yeah, especially afterwards, I've done a bit more research into it and found out that a bunch of it is based on real stories from that time period and
is it really?
Mixes in real life people and locations.
It all seems pretty real. You could imagine in the 40s and a black man trying to write a feature film and all these white studio heads just not having a bar of it, and they finally cracked through and it was a success. But yeah, same for what lead females in movies. I don't know if around that time that may not have been a big thing at the time.
Definitely wasn't. So it was so it's kind of rewriting history really to sort of make Hollywood look a bit more progressive than it was at the time. But
yeah,
in terms of the real life elements, the Golden Tip gas station was a real thing.
Oh, was it actually? That was really cool though. So that was actually a fully functional thing.
Yeah, it was based on Scott Bowers, who was a Navy officer and then went to Hollywood and couldn't make it in Hollywood, so opened up a gas station / prostitution ring.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. It was, I thought that was a pretty cool aspect of the whole film.
The movie within the show is based on Peg Entwistle, which is a real life person who actually jumped off the Hollywood sign.
Oh, really? See, I've read a few things about it, but nothing that mentioned those. Yeah, I actually did read though. People keep hitting him up, Ryan up, if there's going to be more. But he wrote it as just a one-off miniseries. But he said it's so popular that it's definitely on the cards for season 2. And he's also saying the movie in the series Meg, actually, there's possibility of making that in a feature film.
That would be cool. I'd like to see that spun off as a separate Netflix thing.
Yeah, would it? Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because you could even build the story around that even more.
It seemed like a pretty basic storyline anyway, that movie. So there's definitely heaps of tangents you can go off and pretty easy to write the rest of it. I'm sure they would have wrote the whole movie anyway. I
would assume so. They'd have written a majority of it. There'd only be a few scenes that they'd have to flesh out a bit more, I'd say.
Yeah, it was good. The screenplay. A lot of I don't really know anything about Broadway, but apparently a lot of Broadway stars were in it. Hence, the sort of it had a musical aspect, but it wasn't a musical at all. You just felt that song and dance vibe. All the actors were really good.
It felt like they were about to break out in song and dance, but never really did.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's probably the glee coming out in Ryan Murphy there, I guess.
Yeah, just the style of it was awesome. The whole thing was
yeah, it was quirky as me. I loved it. I love the Australian actress Samara Weaving. She was the blonde girl. She was the studio head's daughter.
Was that Samara Weaving?
Yeah. From Home and Away.
I thought it was someone else.
Nah, because I looked up. I was curious because I recognised her. I was like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, she was really good. But the whole cast was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was all about that. Another thing I noticed too, that you know that the grill, that restaurant that was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They filmed scenes with like Leo and Brad sitting there drinking with, who else was there? Anyway, it's a Musso and Frank Grill. It's an actual like Hollywood institution, but yeah, they filmed heaps of scenes in this one there.
Yeah, it really was like, it was similar to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, it was that love letter to the time and the place.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm sure Tarantino would have loved it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's
maybe they jumped in just after he had it all set up.
Might be interesting to see if they could get him on board to direct Meg, if he wanted to.
Oh man, that'd be huge. You'd think it'd have to be Netflix associated though, and has he got any association with Netflix?
Not at the moment, but I don't see why he wouldn't if they threw a buttload of money at him.
Yeah, true. He's a bit senile though.
Here's a wheelbarrow full of cash. Go for it.
Yeah, he'd nail it though.
The only thing is I'd be worried about him trying to make the Tarantino twist aspect of it, like he always seems to.
Well, I'm open to that. I wouldn't be against it. I'm just about at mercy with anything he does.
Yeah. So then I also binged Westworld this week as well, which was pretty full on to go 2 full seasons of a show in a weekend.
Oh yeah, that's excessive. What are they? What's how many episodes were you talking?
I think Westworld was about 8 hour 15 episodes because it's HBO. So there's some that are short and some that are sort of mini movies.
Really? Yeah, I've never watched it yet, but I've heard people talk about it, that's for sure.
The first season was really good. Like it's got sci-fi elements, but it was in a Western setting. And then the second season really fell off the cliff.
Yeah, right.
So I was hesitant about starting season 3, but it starts off well and then falls off.
So what's it about anyway?
In the first season, it's about this theme park that people can go to where all the non-human characters are robots, but you can't tell. They're sort of really high quality cyborgs.
Oh, really?
And in this world, you can do whatever you want. So people are raping villagers, they're murdering people and stuff like that.
Hectic. Sounds full on.
In that first season, the timeline is all sort of mixed up and it doesn't tell you where in the timeline the story is. So there's all these overlapping elements that you don't realise until the very end.
Is that a good thing or not? I don't know. It sounds confusing.
In the first season, it was good. Yeah. And then in the second season, when they tried to sort of recreate the magic, it got all too convoluted and mixed up, and it was really hard to follow in the second season.
So is that another one where they've just wrote it for one season, then they've gone back to write others on top? Is that probably why?
I think that's what happened.
That's a lot of things these days, hey? They don't predict this success.
Yeah, I think they wrote that first season, got really big success, got signed back on, and then we're like, oh, okay, let's try and do it again.
Happens all too often.
But then this third season, they brought it from that Western setting into their modern time, so a futuristic setting for us.
I'm trying to think of a comparison or something. What could you compare it to a movie that I might have seen or no?
Sort of Terminator-y, where
oh yeah, true.
You can't tell that they're robots, but they are, they're just in amongst the humans and you can't tell, so it's...
Yeah, I'm playing along.
And then, there's this one robot that they become sentient, she can think for herself and she has her own motivations rather than what they've just scripted for her.
Yep.
In this newest season, she's in the real world and she's trying to bring down the tech company that made her and is collecting the data of every single person in the world.
Yeah, so the computers have finally taken over.
It's become this whole thing where this company is using the data to sort of... They're predicting what everybody's life is going to be and then influencing the world around them so that they do go on that path that is predicted for them.
Yeah.
That's where it brings in Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad and has him...
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I was going to ask you.
As her, he's her human counterpart that is trying to break free of this script that has been written for him.
Yeah. I know it was when you explain that, I keep thinking of Us. That remember, like it just came out. I don't know, just because they sort of weren't they trying to take over and manipulate everyone to be this one sort of species of.
Yeah, similar to that.
It sounds heaps similar.
And yeah, like this season starts off really well, but then it just kind of gets over convoluted again towards the end and falls into the trap of the second season. So,
how many is there? Because I feel like people have been watching it for ages.
This is the last season so far. I'm not sure whether they're coming back for a season 4 or not.
Oh, so there's only 3 out at the moment.
I'd suggest if you're going to watch it, watch all of season 1. Just find some sort of recap video of season 2 and then skip to season 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, season 2 is ridiculous.
Yes, you're not missing much.
Like, they just try and do too much.
Who else is in it?
Thandie Newton, Evan Rachel Wood, Ed Harris, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
So it's got a decent cast. It's just the story in that second season just gets a little bit over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah, I hate that.
And lastly, I checked out Uncorked based on your recommendation.
Yeah, how'd you like it? I felt I liked it heaps because I'm obviously into wine, but I felt like the soundtrack would have just caught people's attention because Hit Boy produced it. I thought there was a lot of good music in it.
Yeah, that was the first thing that captured my attention. Like, that soundtrack is not what you expect from a movie about wine.
No, not at all, man. That's why it just felt like it was like a younger person's vibe the whole way throughout. It was pretty good, man. I liked it.
Yeah, real nice sort of feel-good movie. And
yeah, it was, man. It was a good storyline.
Made me wonder, like, what I'm missing by not drinking wine.
It's the whole other world, bro. You don't even have to drink it. It's just there's so much like to learn from it.
Yeah, just from his studying.
A lot of people have the wrong perspective about it. But yeah, wine education, that side of it's pretty fascinating.
Like, just ridiculous amount of detail, and just a sommelier is just expected to be able to have a sip of a wine and know exactly, like, where it came from, what year it's from. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, bro. Yeah, just from smelling or rinsing around your mouth, you're meant to, like, know the region, the year. It's pretty impressive. That's why hardly anyone passes the test. I don't know, don't quote me on these stats, but out of thousands or hundreds that take the test a year, only like 5 or 10 pass it.
I can't imagine there would be that many. Like,
and you have to devote your whole life to studying for it.
Especially when you can't just like focus on, I'm just going to be like an expert on this specific region or white wine or anything. It's like I have to know everything about every wine ever.
It's pretty insane. Like you're just having one sniff and you're saying, well, it's from Geelong in Victoria, Sauvignon Blanc from 2014. It's pretty wild. Especially
with and how long people hold on to wine too. Like, people have bottles from like the 40s.
Yeah, man, I've seen bottles from the 17. I think the oldest bottle, like alive, I'll call it, is from like 1700s.
Ridiculous.
And it looks like it was made yesterday, bro. Like, it froze me out how they could like print labels and stuff back then. Well, they obviously didn't print it, but it just looks like it was made yesterday. Anyway, enough wine talk, bro. It's only Tuesday.
You'll be having glasses now and then be heading to work, hating life.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. Oh yeah, you know what else I watched? Becoming, the Michelle Obama doco.
Yep. How was it?
I never really put much thought into it, but I was pretty bored and I just seen it then. But anyway, it's sick, eh? I had no idea what to expect from her, but yeah, she's pretty cool. It pretty much just followed her. She released a book, I don't know, a year or two ago, and she just did a book tour around the States, and it pretty much just was like a behind the scenes thing, and it followed her through that. But it did have interviews from like family and friends, and yeah, it was very interesting, eh? And it made me actually want to buy the book and read it. So it pretty much just tells the story of like where she came from and how she came about being the first lady, I guess, and just had that world thrown at her without much preparation. Yeah, she's a pretty down-to-earth woman. But she's got time for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like a full biography.
It was only like an hour and 20 minutes, man, so it was good, but it took a lot in. Yeah, and like I said, it made me want to read a book. which I've heard is great.
I wonder why they only did like an hour instead of doing something sort of like The Last Dance and doing 3 or 4 episodes where they could have gone into a bit more detail.
Yeah, I wonder if that's got to do with national security.
True.
Like you could easily do a last dance on Obama, which would be absolutely incredible, I reckon. I would have heaps of time for that.
Yeah, surely somebody is trying to get that off the ground now.
Yeah, well, he's just a pop culture icon now.
And because of how like monumental his election was too.
Yeah, and that shows in this one, even though it just focuses on Michelle. But yeah, his impact was insane. It follows the campaign trail leading up to the election as well.
Oh no, so it's not just like after they were in office.
Oh, it mainly is, but yeah, like it flashes back and shows footage and whatnot. Speaking of Obama, though, in The Last Dance, I've seen they fixed up his little tag. Remember in the first couple of episodes, it had him down as Chicago resident?
Yep, yeah, I saw that they fixed that. I wonder if that was backlash for the first episode.
It was backlash, man, because I did see a couple of articles pop up after episodes 1 and 2 saying how they disrespected him.
Yeah, like, surely they responded and fixed it because of it.
Yeah, I think they just had to do that by default to keep people happy, but everyone knows he's like a Chicago boy, and everyone knows if Obama pops up on the screen, you know who it is, so you don't have to write former president. And the documentary is about Chicago, so having him there makes sense to say former Chicago resident just to let people know. But anywho, you got to keep the masses happy.
Yeah, I think the problem with that was like even like journalists were getting credited as journalists for the specific place they worked for, whereas he was just a resident. I was like, that's a bit weird.
It's definitely a bit of a flex, though. I liked it when I first noticed it. It's former Chicago resident. It was good, I reckon.
How have you been finding the rest of The Last Dance?
I think the last 2 episodes, 7 and 8, I think they were a bit slower.
Yep.
They weren't as action-packed. Well, I think we're leading on from Rodman the episodes before, so that was a buzz. I was loving that. But 7 and 8, yeah, it was interesting. Though, because that's focused on like his baseball move and like his first retirement.
I found the focus on his dad was pretty sad.
Yeah, I never realised he got murdered.
When I saw that, I was like, what? How did I not know this?
Yeah, I don't know how I never knew that. Like, he got shot as well in his car. That's pretty brutal. Then I've seen all those conspiracies about how everyone reckons it was a gambling debt because like, Jordan was a big gambler.
There's no way that wouldn't have come out by now, though, if that was the case.
Oh, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just a couple of, I think those 2 dudes that I read that shot him, like junkie bank robbers pretty much, and wrong place, wrong time sort of thing, eh? Yeah, I always just assumed he died of like a sickness. I didn't even think I always thought they didn't have a good relationship either. For some reason.
Even before they revealed that he was murdered, I assumed that he went to their like holiday house and like had a heart attack or something. And then when they were like, "Oh, he was murdered," I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
what?"
Yeah, they like strung that on you. Yeah, shot in his car, pretty hectic. Yeah, another thing I found interesting was when he came back, the reason he chose to wear 45. Well, obviously he was wearing 45 in baseball, but I don't know why that was. I don't know why he didn't wear 23 in baseball. But he came back to play in 45 because he said his dad watched his last game of basketball, and that was in the number 23. So he thought he'd turn over a new page and start a new era, which is pretty cool. But how long did he last? Like 2 or 3 games in 45 before he switched back over to 23 because it said it just wasn't working.
I read an article that said there was 23 games in total that he didn't wear the number 23.
Oh, is that it? Oh, that many. Yeah, right.
When he first debuted, he wore 16 or something until the 23 became available.
Yeah, right.
And then he swapped to the 23, and then he came back in the 45.
Oh, was it the 16? Because I know he played, was it one game with a random number? I don't even think it had his name on it because something happened with the jerseys. I remember seeing it years ago, man. I think that could have been it because there was like a wardrobe malfunction issue or something, so we had to chuck this random number on. I don't even think he had his name on the back. I think he's actually got I've never seen it years ago, man. Like the stats from that game he played in that random jersey were just ridiculous. Like he put up a big game in this just no name random number.
But pretty funny that it worked out that he wore exactly 23 games in a different number.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I didn't even pick that up the first time you said it.
As the resident Lakers fan, what did you think of the Kobe episode?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal that like when he was like actually there talking, and I actually went and checked some stuff out afterwards, and they only wrapped up the recording for that episode in January, like the 16th, and he died on the 26th. So that was pretty wild, I thought. That they just got him in.
Yeah, they were lucky to get him when they could.
Yeah, well, like, they only played together on the back end, but it was a pretty... As far as Jordan, he had a lot of nasty rivalries, didn't he?
Oh, so many by the sounds of it.
Isaiah Thomas, I guess Horace Grant before and after. Who else? There's heaps. But I know he seemed to have a lot of respect for Kobe, like mutual respect. Like, even though he could have easily just bullied him, but he seemed to take him under his wing a little, which Kobe ended up doing later on in his career, I guess, with guys like Kyrie Irving, Trae Young. So, and Kobe always spoke highly of Jordan, how he's like a big brother to him and a mentor.
I guess it was because in that All-Star game where they did play each other, Kobe went at him. He didn't shy away, so I guess that earned Michael's respect.
Yeah, well, didn't Kobe come out? I think Kobe came out and said he's going to make it a game of 1-on-1 in an All-Star game. But Kobe was only 18 then. That was his rookie year. He was the first ever rookie All-Star, which is pretty insane. Like what All-Star weekend's halfway through the season, like not everyone's going to sort of know who it is or the impact. So it's big enough in himself that Kobe was playing that game.
Yeah, like even in this most recent episode, like Steve Kerr even said that in that one training game where he finally stood up to him, it instantly put him on the right page with Jordan.
Yeah, well, Phil Jackson. It would have, because would Jordan put an elbow or something up and hit Steve Kerr, then straight away Phil Jackson jumps in and kicked him out of training.
Yeah, well, apparently Steve Kerr punched him, and then he was like, "Okay, fair."
Yeah, I was surprised by those comments by Steve.
I think it was if you stand up to him, he respects you for showing that fighting spirit.
Oh yeah, like if you back down against Jordan or didn't put up the fight, that's just no respect. Like you're not a competitor. Like, what are you doing? Like, at least put up a fight against me.
I love that he seemed to find any excuse to just go hard at someone during a game too, even sometimes made up.
As harsh as it sort of seems, but I think he does that to help people out almost, like to better them.
And to motivate himself too. Like, he needs to have that, okay, you've disrespected me, I'm going to go at you now.
Yeah, that and he doesn't want to, if you win, say if you're marked up on someone and they're just useless, and you're not going to get satisfaction out of bullying someone who's useless. You want them to put up a fight and show that they've actually got what it takes, and you can sort of feel better about yourself for beating someone who's almost on your level. And
for his teammates too, if he's putting in that much effort, he wants them to put it in as well. Man,
it must have been stressful playing with him, eh? The amount of shit he used to talk in the locker rooms and at practice would have been stressful, tough times. Character building stuff. And
the amount of work he put in too. If you're on his team, seeing the amount of work he's doing, you're like, oh my God, I have to step up.
He even took that into baseball, man. He was doing batting practice for longer before matches. With he's saying he had all these, he couldn't even had those blisters on his hands, and he was doing batting practice after matches and on off days when he was just meant to be rested. He was in the cage. He was just a competitor. Interesting to note too, what would have happened given the baseball didn't go on a strike then. The Major League had that strike. That's why he sort of had the opportunity to get out, and he did. Imagine if they didn't go on strike. What would have happened? These championships would have been non-existent. That too, and I wonder if or if he hadn't left basketball when he did, would they have gone 4 or 5 in a row? Yeah, they made it to the East semis that year. While he was watching on, and I was just thinking, man, he was sitting in the crowd, he could easily just kid off and jump out there, and
Yeah, like they won 3 and then he just left. Like, if he'd stayed, they could have easily gone 4, 5, who knows how many in a row.
Yeah, Pippen, that was a big year for Scottie Pippen though. Like, I think he was All-Star MVP that year, and that was the best year of his career when the first one without Jordan. But then I think the pressure got to him because they showed how he just sat on the bench that game and he said, "I'm done."
Yeah, when they wouldn't give him the ball.
And the boys afterwards in the locker room just said, "No." Yeah, so he's like, "I'm done." So I think the pressure got to him. That was interesting of note too. Like, you always thought Pippen was this nice guy, essentially. Then all of a sudden he's just Phil Jordan shoes, literally, and taking the bad guy aspect out of it. Just couldn't handle it.
It's cool to see some of those things we didn't realise in this documentary. Like, it's easily one of the best documentaries I've seen.
Oh, bro, I'm learning heaps. And apparently they haven't finished editing it yet.
Really? There's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah, I know. But apparently they still haven't finished. That's why a lot of people are picking it apart, saying it's rushed. And I think that was another reason for the going back and forth in the timeline, which everyone was complaining about. But up until now, I was sort of, that's pretty cool. But I actually got a bit annoyed with it the last episode.
Yeah, the last episode, it jumped backwards and forwards a bit too much. Yeah,
a bit too much, and it got a little bit confusing. I was like, oh, this is actually annoying. I did like, though, when they were filming Space Jam, because what year was that? Was that his comeback year? Then he's like, I've got to practice, so they built him this full, what do they call it? I don't know, this Jordan Dome at Warner Brothers Studios, and he just got all the best players there for pickup games, and man, imagine, I'd love to see some tapes, hey? some footage of those pickup games.
How ridiculous were those games, and like, why did half of those players agree to go and do it?
That's what I thought, bro.
You're only going to help the best player on the planet. Yeah,
that's why he's there to help him out.
Yeah, like it's not helping you at all. It's only letting him see what you do and how you exploit your abilities.
They were pretty much just like backyard all-star games. It's insane. Like, absolutely everyone, all the stars were there. It was a killer. I mean, I'd love to see some footage. Sure, there's some. They'd have to have more behind the scenes. There has got to be behind the scenes bonus episodes of this, like that half-assed one they did for Tiger King, like that sort of thing. Like,
yeah, hopefully they do a better one than that.
They're gonna have so much extra footage and content. Like, people, like, basketball's still not going to be back by the time this is done, and like, this has really gotten people through, myself included. I look forward to Mondays now heaps, man.
Oh, 100%.
But there's so much buzz, like, the whole day online. Like, all the American sports outlets are just chatting it up all day. It's good, man. It's good buzz. I rate it. And everyone's just chatting about it.
You get all the highlights broken out.
Yeah, you get a few trailers and drip fed some stuff. But yeah, I've been watching a few videos in that online after each episode. Just the I forgot his name. The guy that produced it, that young guy that put it all together. He does some pretty good interviews and stuff, hey, like for ESPN with Jalen Rose and whatnot, that's talking about like the process.
Yep.
I was watching one earlier, and when they were trying to get a hold of Jordan, he was just Dennis Rodman, and he said it was like trying to interview a feral cat. That's what he called him.
Well, I can't imagine he'd be easy to interview.
Like, he was in the elevator with him or something, going up to wherever they're going to do it. And Rodman's like, so what is this all about again? Like, he just had no idea. And he's like, dude's like, it's a 10-hour documentary about your Bulls team. And he's like, oh yeah. And he's like, I'll give you 10 minutes. And the producer said, I had all these pages, like 10 pages worth of questions, and each page was like an hour each. Rodman comes out and like, yeah, I'll give you 10 minutes.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, you should have just told him it was a Kim Jong-un documentary and you would have had his 10 hours straight up.
Yeah, probably. Speaking of Space Jam, what did you think of the logo and the announcement of Space Jam 2?
Oh, yeah, pretty keen, man. I was actually ready to write a complaint to Netflix, because I actually searched Space Jam on Netflix on the weekend. I was pretty keen to watch it, and they don't have it. Do you know what the go is there? Like, is it like a Stan exclusive or something?
Oh, yeah, it must.
There's really a reason why it's not on there. Oh, it's Warner Bros. It's Warner. That shouldn't matter.
Yeah, no, I don't think they have a deal with anyone.
Is it owned by Warner Bros? It's not Disney enough, I know. Is it on Disney Plus?
Nah.
It wouldn't be.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be.
Oh, actually, no. Warner Brothers is Disney, isn't it?
I don't know.
Because isn't Harry Potter... Harry Potter's Warner Bros, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's on
And that's
Stan,
not
though.
Disney. I have a feeling it could be because there's no Pixar movies or anything like that on Netflix because they're all Disney and they're on Disney Plus. Yeah, I'm pretty keen for it though. Like, there's the same setup. It's going to be. Oh, there was already talk of it. Like when they first mentioned LeBron being the star of this one, like, what's he going to do? Like, they're going to be filming it like when he's meant to be training and working out. So they'll build the exact same facilities, I'd imagine, for him.
Yeah, they'll have to.
It helps that he lives in LA too, I guess. So, but yeah, maybe we'll get some Space Jam workout tapes 2.0.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like all the NBA stars these days have heaps better camaraderie than they did back in the 90s, so it'd be even better. Imagine the scenes, bro. It'd be so good.
Well, some of the players that would go and work with LeBron, it'd be ridiculous. I reckon you might even be able to get Michael out to try it out.
Oh, can you imagine? I haven't seen that guy shoot a single jumper in the last 20 years. I haven't seen any like footage of him.
Which is weird. Like, you'd think when he's at Charlotte games, he'd be like, I'll just have a couple of shots here and there.
Like, obviously, he's like the biggest sneaker manufacturer in the world, but like, and he owns Charlotte. But other than that, he's not involved at all, is he, in the game?
No.
Like, he just doesn't care. It seems like he doesn't do any media at all.
Which I guess is like him trying to keep the focus on his players rather than taking it himself.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird. Unless he's got some strange contracts going on. But like what most other NBA stars are all running, like on ESPN and TNT and all the panels and whatnot, and doing broadcasts.
Yeah, interesting.
Funny.
Did you check anything else out this week?
I don't think I did. I pretty much just consumed my weekend watching Hollywood. Then I was pretty keen to watch Space Jam. I was disappointed about that. I listened to Elon Musk's new podcast, Visit to Rogan.
Oh, you actually got around to that?
Yeah, I did. Have you listened to it?
No, I haven't. How was it?
Did you listen to the first one?
Only bits and pieces. I never watched the whole lot.
Yeah, well, man, honestly, if you haven't listened to it yet, I wouldn't bother. I like him. Like, he's cool, but it was the exact same chat as the first time he went there.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's easy to lose interest. Like, he's just... Yeah, so it's pretty much just between them two, 5 hours of the same chat. It was cool, but I like him. He doesn't really care about rules or what anyone thinks. I've seen today in the news, because he wants to get production up and running again at Tesla, and his factory's like in Oakland, I think, in California, and their laws are still like you can't work or no production. He's just said he's going back to work. I think he tweeted today, hey, I'm going to get it up, and he said something along the lines of, I'm going back to work, and I don't care what you think. If you want to arrest me, you can, but arrest me and not my workers. I'll get it up. Where is it?
Pretty ridiculous. What do you think of the explanation of his kid's name?
Apparently, his partner Grimes has a completely different pronunciation of it too. I think, what did he say? It's X Ash. That AE apparently means Ash.
Yep.
X Ash. What is it? A12. And I think.
What?
Yeah, then the A12 was some early model of like spaceship or something, maybe even out of a movie. It was simply barbaric, bro. Like when he was explaining it, and Joe Rogan's just laughing his head off, and I'm like, oh man, that just seems so disrespectful. And like Elon wasn't really seeing the funny side of it.
Like, your poor child. Like, what? Your kid's going to school and they have to explain that name to people.
But the California, the law permits, so it didn't pass the name anyway. So I don't know what they're falling back on.
I don't think he cares.
Where's his tweet? Tesla is restarting production today against Alameda County rules. I will be on the line with everyone else. If anyone is arrested, I ask that it only be me.
Righto. That'll be interesting to see tomorrow how many people got arrested.
Oh man, if you're disrespecting the law like that publicly, I'll be going down there and arresting him for sure to make a bit of a statement.
Yeah, because if like they get away with it, what's going to stop any other major manufacturer being like, nah, everyone has to go to work, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude just does what he wants. I seen it the other day. He wants to be the first person to be buried on Mars. That's pretty cool, though. I think.
Okay, that's cool. I'll let him have that one, but like...
Strange thing though, but like you wouldn't be around to see the fame of it. That's the whole fun of doing something like that. You can claim it.
Yeah, like at least if you're the first person to walk on Mars, you're like, yep, got it. Not that they're likely coming back.
He'll be doing commercial flights to space. I reckon he'll beat Richard Branson. Richard Branson's been trying to do it for like 20 years. I reckon Elon Musk is gonna come through and do it. I reckon 5 years
He's already gone way past Branson. Like he's got rockets that can come back and land.
Oh, you don't even hear the name Richard Branson these days. Yeah, I reckon Elon Musk commercial flights to space within 5 years for sure.
So, what are your top recommendations this week?
Oh man, I've actually been recommending it to people, and yeah, Hollywood for sure. It was interesting. I liked it. It was very entertaining. Bit different too.
Yeah, I have to say the same.
Yeah, so I've actually mentioned it to a few people and suggested they watch it. Nothing else to do. Why not? Yeah, I didn't realise it's only been out a week.
Yeah, it's only been out for a little while.
So I doubt most people have watched it yet. So yeah, I reckon it's going to blow up, eh?
Yeah. Once a few more people sort of get around to it, it's going to go pretty crazy, I think.
In before everyone else.
That was the plan.
Yeah, so I'm hanging now for these last 2 episodes, which is going to be emotional that it's gone because I'm actually loving it. I'm definitely going to go back and watch it again. I've already been like thinking about watching each episode before the new one comes out, just rewatch it. It's just pretty entertaining. Like, I'm definitely not sick of it. But yeah, like I said, man, I really hope they do some bonus episodes.
Yeah.
Like recaps.
They'll have to. Like, surely there'll be more interviews and stuff, like bits that they didn't make the cut.
Oh, in another interview with that producer, he mentioned when he was talking about Rodman that ESPN did a 30 for 30 with him.
Oh, wow.
I looked it up. I think, when was it? It might have been last year. Yeah, so that'd be heaps interesting. I'm definitely going to dive into that this weekend. Oh, yeah, it's on KO. There you go. Sorted.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah, that'd be sick. So that's me. At 30 for 30 on Rodman. I'll get back to a bit of a review next time.
Perfect. Until then, thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. You can follow me on social media at JamYapsMedia, and you can follow Blake over on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine Jamzine over on Patreon at patreon.com/JamieAppsMedia. The following people supported at the Jam publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Caitlin Fitzgerald, Courtney Paulson, Tracy Apps.